you mark your attendance, please? Can you write your name in the chat box? Thank you. Yeah. So Mustafa, Hadda, Wafa, Ashraf, Rashid, Hussein, great, Muhammad, Abdurrahim, Safa, Imad. Okay. Iman, Aida, Siham, Samira, Hadda, Huda. Thank you. Muhadis. All right. Great. Yes, so before having a review about what we have studied last time, let me share with you the final assignment, okay? Then we can discuss. Just 1 second, please. Okay, so do you see my screen? Great. So please, if you have any question about the final assignment, yes, it's the right time to ask. So let me explain here. This is the Tefl portfolio. And it's really very important because it gives you a global picture about what you have learned or what you have studied. Okay. And once you want to apply for certain teaching jobs, you may forget some of the concepts or methods or approaches, and you go back to your portfolio because the portfolio gives you a good summary about all what you have done or what you have learned. So here, number one, this is the final exam. It's the final assignment, but it's the final exam due to coronavirus. So there are no face-to-face classes. I mean, the traditional classes. Now the final exam will take the, the portfolio will take the form of the final exam. Okay, so here, number one, or before that, write a well-described portfolio. You describe, you write, you analyze, you reflect. So describe about your TEFL training experience, about 10 pages, 10. So for me, 7 pages are enough. More than 10, great, okay. So it depends on you and how you describe. Number one, I would like you to start with an introduction. And some of you, other teachers, other previous trainees start with acknowledgement. Okay. Acknowledgement. You can start with it as you like, okay. But the most important here is the introduction. In the introduction, you talk about what does TEFL mean for you. What is TEFL? What is teaching English as a foreign language? Okay, and then you continue writing about why do you want to be a teacher? Why you choose this job? What is special about this job? What are the reasons behind choosing teaching? Do you want to make changes? Do you want to create positive change in your country? Do you want to pass knowledge? Do you want to help people to be good citizens? Or why exactly? Okay. Number two, so for number one, you write a paragraph or 2 paragraphs. It's an introduction. The second is the TEFL program. You are going to describe. To describe what? To describe the modules you talked about, to describe the duration, to talk about the duration. The duration is about 1 month. Basically, it's 1 month. Number of hours, 120 hours. Trainer, yeah, you can talk about the trainer, Mr. Hussein, and the academic year is 2020, okay, or 2020. Here, you can write just one paragraph or two paragraphs, and you can include everything. For the modules, you can talk about the title of each module, or you talk about the most interesting modules that you liked and you learned about. For example, these are just suggestions. Okay, so here you describe how many modules, the duration, the number of hours you studied. Okay, the numbers you can talk about: 3 hours face-to-face via Zoom and 3 hours for reading and assignments. So 3 hours face-to-face via Zoom and 3 hours for reading articles and doing assignments. Then you talk about the trainer, you can provide some information, and then the academic. So you can write one paragraph, two paragraphs, three, it depends on you. Great. Now let's move on to the third tip. The third tip is my teaching philosophy, is your teaching philosophy. So what methods, what principles would you opt for when you teach, when you are teaching? What methods? Are you going to opt for teacher-centered approach or learner-centered approach, or both? Okay, or both. Or you can opt for a cooperative learning approach, communicative language teaching, etc. Okay. Principles. When you are teaching your classes, are you going to focus on respect, mutual respect between you and learners? Okay. Or empathy. Empathy means you put yourself in the shoes of the other. Before saying something, you ask yourself, is this word I'm going to say, does it hurt the feel or not? If not, I can use it. Equity, to be fair with everyone. Collaboration. By the way, these are just suggestions, but you can add, you can delete, you can modify, you can change. It's okay. Number 4, your Tefl learning experience. And this is the most important part. What have you learned? Because in the beginning, you may have no experience about teaching or anything related to teaching topics, but now you started to learn something very important. For example, the sub skills. Before I start the lesson, I have to motivate, I have to create contacts, I have to engage learners, I have to pre-teach vocab. I did not know this before. I may tell students from the very beginning to read the text. But here, once I studied the Tefl, 100-hour Tefl course, I learned something very important, is the pre, the while, and the post, the presentation, the practice, etc. I learned about how to motivate students, how to create a fun and enjoyable learning environment using games, online games like Kahoot, Bamboozle, ClassDo, etc. Okay. So what have you learned? What did you like about this course? What did you like? And what you didn't, or what didn't you like? Maybe you didn't like working in groups. You did not like the technical issues. You did not like the connection sometimes was very slow. You did not like because it's in a very short period of time, a lot of assignments that the trainer bombards us with a lot of assignments. So you can talk about these things, okay? And number 3, what was easy, motivating, and challenging, etc. What was good? I mean, what modules were easy for you to learn? What modules were challenging, okay? When you were studying the 100-hour Tefl course, what was motivating about that? Is collaboration, participation, okay, etc. Okay. Now, the micro teaching, as I told you, which is the most important. And by the way, I really enjoyed watching up to now the videos you shared, okay? It's very interesting, and they have got lots of positive points. Okay. And some videos, I guess, have got no areas of improvement. Okay, they were perfect. Okay, and I really enjoyed watching your teaching styles. Okay, that was really great. I can see that there is improvement, that you implement what you have learned. That's really interesting. So here, you are going to describe what? You are going to describe the lesson you taught. Pre-reading, while reading, vocabulary, grammar, listening, etc. You describe it. You describe the lesson, and you describe the part, the micro. So you can talk about the macro. The lesson that I presented is about teaching grammar, but I focused only on one part, on one area, which is the presentation stage. I focused only on two subscales, which are skimming and scanning, or pre-teach vocab and visual aids. Yeah, you describe, and how did you teach? What did you do? Did you use group work? Did you ask students clear instructions? Did you use different materials, etc.? After that, which is very important, you write A, the trainer's comments or the trainer's feedback. Number 1, number 2, number 3, and you reflect on it. Okay. B, my colleagues' comments or feedback. It's not important to mention all your colleagues' feedback, but you can choose 2 or 3. That's it. If you want to add more comments, yeah, you can write them. Okay. And it's very important, again, when you are giving feedback, let's be tactful and let's focus on the positive side of the teacher's or the trainee's performance. If there is something wrong about his lesson, we can use very interesting terms like it would be better. I liked your performance, but it would be better if you started with a joke or with a game. Okay. Your teaching style was great, but I would prefer for me to do this instead of this. Okay. I really liked watching your teaching style, but for the presentation stage, I would rather focus on this and this. Okay. So using good terms lead the other one to accept your feedback. But using negative, the result is negative reaction. You see what I mean? So please, now you are teachers. You are no longer university students or just students. You are teachers, you are educators, so you are going to teach people the more values, the global values about accepting others, good communication, etc. All right, thank you. Now, for number 6, events organized. And here we organize events. I'm talking here about the demo lessons. We invited 2 teachers, presented 2 demo lessons. Okay. You have to describe them. You have to talk about them. You can talk about what you have learned, what was interesting, what was not interesting. Do you agree with the experienced teacher about his teaching style when he taught reading or when she taught grammar, etc. Okay. And tomorrow we will hold a seminar, and I want all of you to attend because you have to include it here in number 6. The seminar will be for TEFL trainees. Our previous TEFL trainees, 100-hour TEFL course, they are going to present. We have got 7 or 8 presenters. They are going to talk about, or they are going to present presentations about teaching English as a foreign language, topics like cooperative learning, teaching reading, teaching critical skills. Okay. And hopefully we have got a very great person here, Hussein from Algeria. Yeah, he is also going to present in the, tomorrow's seminar. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Hussein, for, taking the initiative to present. And it's a great opportunity because the purpose behind organizing the seminar, and it's gonna be, by the way, international. Everyone is gonna watch this one, okay? And I want just to shake your feelings or your head to move from teaching to training, from teaching in class to teaching outside the classroom. Now, when you are going to give a presentation via Facebook or YouTube or any other online platform, so you are no longer teaching in class, but you are outside. And this will give you, will raise your self-esteem, and then you start thinking about what? About being a trainer in the future. Because the best people, the most successful people who believe in changes. I don't want you to be a teacher for all your life. No, you become a teacher, later you give lectures, later you become a trainer, a senior trainer, etc. This is the change. Everything changes in the world except one. One thing that does not change, which is the change itself. Okay. 2 days ago, it was Monday. Yesterday, Tuesday. And today is Wednesday. So there are changes even in days. Seasons. Spring, winter, autumn, summer. You were a baby, a child, a teenager. You grew up, an adult. Changes, okay. So changes are the most important thing if you want to be a successful person. You have to believe in changes. And I really don't like the idea of becoming or having the same job for more than 30 or 50 years. No, you can be a teacher, but at the same time, you promote. You become a trainer or a coach or a lecturer or etc. Okay, this is the best of the best. Think outside the box. Okay, so please, I want you to attend tomorrow, and I'm going to share with you the link of the seminar, and you are going to include them in number 6, events organized. You talk about them. Okay, this is what's called CPD, the continuous professional development. Learning is a process. You should learn and learn and learn, okay. Number 5, the transition to online courses. Now, the course was held or has been held on Zoom, Google Classroom, WhatsApp, and Gmail, okay. I want you to talk here. I want you to talk about the advantages and the drawbacks. For example, the drawbacks like technical problems. The drawbacks like there is no pair work. Okay, here we didn't work in pairs, okay. Maybe group work, we worked somehow, okay. Even the pair work, I invited two, like last time I invited Ilham and another, I guess, Sumaya, or they made a conversation. But these are some challenges, and you can think about the drawbacks of about online courses, and of course the advantages. Yes, number 8, general conclusion. Yeah, you conclude. You can give your opinion, suggestion, or a summary. And number 9, the most important again, the appendix. Appendix is your lesson plans. You take a picture of them or you print them and you stick. Okay, worksheets, that the exercises that you designed, okay. Some of the assignments, okay, you can include them, the flashcards, you can include them in the appendix. And here Muhammad said, and the host going to talk about China, teaching China. Yes, 2 days, in the evening, we have another session. It's about teaching abroad, especially in Asia. Yeah, you can also talk about this in number 6, events organized. Okay, so the portfolio is based on paragraphs or essays. You describe each tip, writing a paragraph or 2 paragraphs or 3 paragraphs as you like. It's an individual work. It's not group work, individual work. Yes, please, no questions so far? Yeah, Muhadi said, would you please explain appendix? So let me share with you, just 1 second, let me see. the previous portfolio. Let me just to see. Okay, just 1 second. Tefl. Okay. Just 1 second. Great. So let me stop sharing, and I'm going to share with you a sample, but please, I don't want you to copy as it is. I'm just gonna, so do you see my screen? Do you see my screen? Yes or no, please? Okay, great. So let's go to the beginning. Okay. This is just an example, okay. So Tefl program, Miriam Ayat al-Arabi, okay, etc. Okay. Table of content. This is the table, and number 11 is appendix. Okay. So here you can write. So she wrote, I guess, 19 pages. Yeah, 19 pages. Okay. Great. So here we have my teaching philosophy. For example, I personally like to think of teaching as an art form, not a delivery system. It's somehow about intuition and judgment, etc. Okay. And then we move to the learning experience. I used to be a student all my life. Now I'm working on myself to teach other students. And I realized how interesting and amazing it is to teach. Also how hard and time consuming. Managing a class and preparing lessons, etc. I'm just trying to give you some hints about how you write the portfolio. Micro teaching, the art of teaching is not only about, okay. And here I also had a micro teaching experience in this TEFL program. Since we are studying online, I had to record myself after planning my lesson. It was a reading lesson about school life, and she started describing. Okay, yeah. After sharing my video with my classmates and the trainer, they gave me many positive feedback concerning my clear language pronunciation, the classroom management, the variety of activities, the rapport with students, the ICT. So she is describing the feedback. The events. Tefl is all about quality of teaching and the creative of teachers. And she talks about the events she attended, okay, the webinars. So for example, on March 2020, an EFL Moroccan teacher in China organized a presentation in our Tefl class about teaching in China. GBF webinar about integrating skills. Yeah, she attended some webinars. Great, so she talks about the webinars. Now the transition from, okay, and the general conclusion. Now Muhadis, you ask about appendix. So look here, the appendix. You can include assignments. So TEFL first assignment, authentic materials. So she included the assignments, okay. Speaking, etc. And the tasks, these are the assignments. And let me see, the lesson plans, you see? So she included also the lesson plans. All right. The materials, visual aids, flashcards, she included them here, etc. This is just an example. I hope that it's clear, Muhadis, now. Is it clear so far? Okay, so no question about the portfolio. Now you have enough time. You have enough time to prepare for the portfolio. You have really enough time. Yeah, please, if there is any question, you can ask now. Yes, no questions? Okay. So Zara said, can we do more than 10? Yes, you can do more than 10 pages, right? Yes, you can. Zahra, 10 is the maximum is seven pages. The deadline is there. Yeah, I'm going to share the deadline. So the deadline is here. Look here. It's August 23rd. August 23rd. August 23rd. Siam said, can we include just one or two as what assessment you mean? What do you mean, Siam? Assessment, can we include just one or two? Assignments, yeah, you mean assignments. Yes, you can. Okay, yeah. Yusuf, do we have to stick? No, you don't have to stick to it, but this is just like a roadmap, like a platform. It guides you. You can add, you can modify, you can change, etc. Sharazad, how can we include the assignments? Yes, in the appendix. Appendix part is assignment 1, for example, assignment if you want. If you don't want, no need. Okay. Safa, should we include only one lesson plan? If you want one lesson, 2, 3, no problem, okay. But please, something very interesting, because the appendix may be very long. So don't count the appendix. Appendix, you do not include it in the number of the final assignment. Because if you include just 3 lesson plans, then you may have 7 pages. So the assignment, the appendix is not included in terms of the number of the whole final assignment. You see? Shahza said, do we have to make a lesson plan? Yes, because I told you for your micro teaching, you have to design a lesson plan. Yeah, a lesson plan. For example, if you teach the pre-reading, you have to design a lesson plan for the whole lesson, for the pre, the while, and the post. But the micro teaching, you are going to teach only the pre. Okay. I guess that's enough about the assignment. Yeah, great. Now, let's move on to what we did last time. Can someone remind me what we covered exactly? Any volunteer to talk? Yes, please. Najia, you have a question? Yes, please. Yes, please. What's the question? You can talk. Raise your thumbs up, and then you can talk. Yes. Anyway, yeah, what we did last time. Any volunteer to summarize what we talked about yesterday? Yeah, Muhadis, use the mic.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Last session, we talked about assessment and tests, different types of them. Assessment happens during the whole term. Test normally happens at the end of the term. And also we talked about formative and summative tests. Formative tests are normally kind of informal tests. And also summative tests are formal tests, which happens usually at the end of the term. And for assessment, we are, I think we are assessing of the learning, if I'm not mistaken. And the other one is assessing for the, we are assessing for learning. Formative, assessing for learning, and summative, we are assessing of learning. And also we talked about different types of tests, placement tests, which happens in the language centers, and they happen at the beginning of the course in order to put the students in the correct level. And also we have proficiency tests, like IELTS and Tefl tests for kind of going working or studying abroad. And we had also achievement tests and also progress tests. Achievement tests normally happens kind of at the end of the term to get the whole idea of what students have learned. Progress tests happens during the term in order to check some specific points of learning. And the other one was diagnostic tests. The teacher gets some diagnostic tests in order to check the students' weaknesses and strengths. And a perfect test should be reliable and valid. By validity, we mean a test should measure what it is supposed to measure. And reliability means the consistency of the test, how many times a test can repeat itself. And that's it. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Very interesting summary. Great. Now, some of you got confused between assessment testing and formative and summative assessment. Now, let's clarify something very important. We can say assessment and testing, or it's like a synonym, or formative and summative assessment. Now, summative assessment means testing. So remember, summative assessment means testing. Formative assessment means assessment. So you can play with words. You can use assessment and testing or formative and summative. Is it clear? Summative assessment, another term we can use for that is testing. Formative assessment, another term we can use for that is assessment. Please, is this clear so far? So as not to get confused. Okay, great. Now, we talked about something very important. You as a teacher, number one, you should know about diagnostic tests, because you will teach in a private school, in a public school, okay? So you have to diagnose, you have to see the weaknesses of your learners. Based on the weaknesses, you are going to design a sequence of lessons. My students are not good at, they made a lot of spelling mistakes. So I'm going to fix on accuracy-based activities. I'm going to work more on writing, etc. Okay. So this is a diagnostic test. It gives you a good idea about students' weaknesses and strengths. Great. Now, if you are teaching at a language center, it's good to know about the placement test. The placement test, from its name, you place the students from one level to the other. You give him or her a test. He is going to complete the test, and then you grade it. Based on that, you place him, you group him. Does he belong to group of intermediate, or to group of beginners, or group of elementary, etc. Okay. Now, there is something in common between diagnostic and placement test. Both occur in the beginning of the school year, or in the beginning of the course. Let's avoid the school year. The beginning of the course, or the beginning of the term, etc. But there is something different between the two. Do you remember what's the difference between diagnostic and placement test? What's the difference? In terms of questions, you said. Can you clarify more? In terms of questions. Lan, thank you, Mustafa. Thank you, Hadda. Great. Basically, diagnostic test, you will have 100 questions, 100 questions. Question from 1 to 20, beginners. Question from 20 to 40, intermediate. Questions from 40 to 60, advanced. Questions from 60 to 100 or to 80, proficiency, etc. Okay. So based on that, you can see the level of the student. So the number of questions. But for diagnostic tests, now you have just 10, 15, etc. Okay, good. Now, the next, the other types of tests, we have two. Here we have Galaxy. I don't know who is Galaxy. Said placement test is normally consists of multiple choice questions. Yeah, your name, please, as to add it. Rashid, thank you. Yeah, let me just, yeah. So Rashida, thank you for raising this point. Okay. Great. Yes, the placement test basically is based or is about multiple choice answers, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. However, you have A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, and there is writing. At the end, you have 3 topics or 4 topics. You should write about them. The first topic, introduce yourself. What do you do on the weekend? This is for beginner level. This see if you are beginner or not. So you write it. Then you move to the second question, the second topic. Talk about what you did last time or what you did last vacation. Talk about the activities. This is maybe for intermediate level. Okay. Then the third topic. Okay. Talk about what you have done recently or what you have been recently. This is for, it can be for upper intermediate. And then there is number 4 for advanced. Another topic is topic number 4. If you were, a doctor, what would you do to help the humanity? It's conditionals. Okay. So they give you 4 topics about writing. The first topic is about for beginners, but you have to write all of them, by the way. And based on that, they see your level. Of course, if you are a beginner student, you cannot write number 2, 3, and 4. You stop. You tell them, I didn't understand. And they say, that's okay. Okay. Then there is the interview. They ask some questions to see your pronunciation, your communication skills. Based on writing, speaking, grammar, vocab, they place you into the right level. Okay, great. Now, the next is the progress and achievement. And both take place in the end of the, not the course, but in the end of, they are periodic. In the end of certain, when you complete certain units or certain lessons, etc. For example, progress tests can take place in the end of the first term. Okay. The achievement test is in the end of the course. When you complete the course, the achievement test must be designed. Okay, great. Then we have proficiency tests like TOEIC, like IELTS, etc. Okay, we talked about validity and reliability. The test should be valid. It must measure what it is supposed to measure. And the reliability, the test must be reliable. If you give it to the same group in the coming days, they should get the same result. If you give it to other teachers to correct, they should get somehow the same grades or the same result, etc. Okay. So these are the things that we covered. And we talked about bad tests when the instructions are not clear, when there is something missing, like when you give a language quiz or a language test, language, grammar, communication, vocab. If you miss one of them, this is a bad test, etc. Okay. And then the grading is 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, etc. Okay. If the test is 20 out of 20, then comprehension should take 7 points. Language, 7 points. Okay. And writing 6 points. Okay, great. I guess that's enough for the review. So any question about assessment and testing? Okay, great. So now what do you think? So let's, I'm going to use the production subscale. Can you guess today's session will be about what? We're going to cover which part of Tefl, teaching English as a foreign language. What do you think? Today's session will be about professional development. Let me give you some words, and based on these words, student, class management, noise, techniques. So what do you think? Disruptive student discipline problems, good Aisha, human behavior, Huda, disruptive students, great. Yes, so today we are going to cover something very important, which is how to deal with issues, how to deal with problems in the classroom. Okay, great. So classroom challenges. So let me share with you the slides. So do you see my screen now? Can you see my screen? Great. Yes. So here we are going to focus on the 21st century skills to solve problems, discipline problems, disruptive students, noise, troublemakers, no respect. So these are the things you are going to face in the classroom, okay? Now, when we talk about the classroom, we talk about a good place to teach, an ideal place, which means there are students, there's a teacher. The job of the teacher is to teach, and the job of the learner is to learn. That's it. It's an ideal place. No problem. Everything is great, okay? Students will follow you, and you will teach, and you will find a good classroom, a good number of students. This is what you expect. Now, when it is reality, you may not expect, or you might not find all these things. You may find the opposite, and you have to work on your skills to resolve all these things, because you are not teaching students. You are teaching people. You are teaching human beings with different backgrounds, different personalities, different ages, different attitudes, different interests, coming from different families. All these create issues, and your job is to manage. Okay, is to manage if you have something, or if there are some problems in the classroom. Okay, great. So here the topic of today, it's about dealing with the challenges in the classroom. Okay, so the 21st century skills, problem solving, solving problems. The teacher should solve the problem, and the students should solve problems like exercises, assignments, etc. So I'm going to share with you a very interesting lesson, and I want you, if you find it interesting, you can do it with your students in the beginning of the year. Is coaching students in dealing with everyday conflicts. Conflicts outside the classroom and conflicts inside the classroom. Okay, now, can you describe the picture? What do you see here? Any volunteer? What do you see? Anyone to describe? Yeah, conflict, Wafa said. Bashira pointing out fingers at each other. Okay, misunderstanding. Abdurrahim, Huda, two people arguing. Okay. Zara, two people arguing about something. Mustafa arguing. Sex conflict. Great, Muhammad. Okay. That's interesting. I guess Najia want to say something. Yes, Najia. Use the mic. Two people
Good morning. Can you hear?
Yes, I hear you now.
Okay, in this picture we can see two students pointing at each other, maybe because of misunderstanding or of difference in idea about a topic or something like that in a classroom.
Okay, thank you. That's interesting. Remember we said that addressing students with their names solve the problem, but pointing like this, it's like accusing, attacking them. Okay. Aisha said blaming each other. Shahrazad, disagreement. Maryam, different views, lack of communication. Okay, Ilham, two people arguing. Great. So this shows that there is something wrong between the two people, okay? But there is something interesting. I guess they are, look at their facial expression, gestures. Is part of the body language, okay? And maybe they are talking at the same time. Yeah, they are angry, nervous. Yeah, and one of the best skills or techniques is to calm down. Okay. One is talking, the other should listen. Huda, yeah, blaming each other. Yusuf, not at ease. Okay. Safa said the man is angry. Oh, Safa is a girl. Safa is a woman. Said the man is angry. What do you think? I'm just kidding, Safa. Okay. What about the woman, the girl? So the woman is an angel, and the man is a devil. All right. Do you agree? Safa, you are going to increase the problem, not decrease the issue. Okay. I'm just kidding, Safa, yes. All right. Yeah, they are both angry. But maybe the man is somehow more, yeah, angry. Yeah, I mean, angrier than her. Yeah, and Ilham said both seem frustrated. Yeah, what do you think? Why? Why they are having arguments and conflicts? Why? What's the reason behind that? Can you explain? Any volunteers, or you can write in the chat box. What are the reasons behind conflicts, problems, issues? What do you think? Opposite ideas, Abdurrahim, great. Competition, Bashira, Aisha, disagreement. Yes, Hussein, misunderstanding, interesting. Different point of views. All right, yeah, these are very interesting ideas, okay. Yeah, we are going to see. I want you from now on, please, from now on, to differentiate between ideas and human being. When Safa is talking, if she says something I don't like, I'm not going to stop talking to her. No, I may not agree with her ideas, but as a human being, we keep in touch. We keep the same relationship. And this is very important. We don't have to stop everything. I don't agree with Wafa, not Wafa, Wafa's ideas. I don't agree with Mustafa, not Mustafa, Mustafa's behavior or ideas. But the problem here that our students and even some teachers, when there is a different point of views, different ideas, we stop talking to the whole body, the whole human being. And this is wrong. And this is what we want to teach our learners. Okay, to accept differences, to accept different ideas. This is what great people do believe in. Yeah, as Miriam said, we should never take things personally. Okay, great. So let's move on. Now, let me share with you the objectives of today's session. Yeah, please, this is a workshop and you can use it in the future with your learners. You can coach them about how to solve problems. So the first thing that I'm going to deal with is the 21st century skills. What do we mean by 21st century skills and what are these 21st century skills? Number two, we are going to define conflict. What is conflict? Number three, we are going to have some conflict situations and we are going to work on them. If you want to solve conflicts, you need, yeah, there are different styles. People have got different styles and there are different, conflict styles, okay. And of course, if you want to resolve the issue, what do you need? You need the strategies. And here we are going to cover some important conflict strategies when dealing with the big problems or issues. So is it clear so far about the objectives of today's session? Yes, please. Okay, thank you. Good, so let's move on. Now, a very interesting question. What are the 21st century skills? Do you have any idea what are the 21st century skills? So let's see in the chat box. Mehdi, critical thinking, good. Sam, leadership, wonderful. What else? Problem solving, Mustafa. Miriam, being good at communication, great. Huda, communication. Iman, critical thinking, collaboration. Hanan, critical thinking, collaboration. Hussein, let me give you some hints. There are four C's, 4, C1, C2, C3, C4. What are they? 4 C's, they start with C. Okay, Rajini, solving problems. Bashira, globalization. Hussein, collaboration. Wonderful. Muhammad, communication, great. Iman, competency-based approach, all right. Imad, culture, interesting. Huda, cooperative work, wonderful. Muhammad, critical thinking. Okay. Mustafa, community, communication, connection, culture, somehow. Sumaya, invention, but it starts with C. Sumaya, you can say invention or invention. It starts with C. Imad, content, okay. Aisha, cooperative work, great. Problem, Mariam, problem solving, but it starts with C. Najia, flexibility, no. We said they start with C, like communication. Mehdi, critical thinking, collaboration, communication, creativity. Thank you, Mehdi. Perfect. Critical thinking, collaboration, communication, creativity. These are the 4 C's. Okay. Samira said, is it related to standard approach? Somehow, but because standard approach, we can talk about culture as well. Okay, thank you, Mehdi. Now let's see here. So the 4 C's of education, the 21st century skills: communication, critical thinking, creativity, and collaboration. Now, how can we help students resolve problems by working on communication? So what do we mean by communication here? Yes. So there are only 4 learning skills. Those are only 4 learning skills, Muhammad. Interaction, Hajar. Interaction, Najia. Good. involves listening and speaking. Thank you, Muhammad. Listening is also about communication, speaking, communication, body language, communication. Okay. Critical thinking, what do you think about critical thinking? Critical thinking. Yes. Yeah, critical thinking, what can you elaborate on this one? Mehdi said, seeing both sides of the issue, of an issue, Iman, interpreting, yeah, Haja, analyzing ideas, Huda, discussions, but yeah, you using logic, good, Muhadis, thinking of the other side, Aisha, to argue constructively, good, Yusuf, debate, discuss, Hussein, think clearly, obviously, great, Iman, deep reflection. All right, we will see. Now, what about creativity? Creativity. Yes, creativity. Solving problems. Good, Imad. Najia, wonderful. Solving problems. Safa, think to find solutions. Excellent. Great, I like it. Being innovative, wonderful. Safa, think to find solutions. Hajar, being innovative. Good. And some of you in the very beginning said competition. No, competition kills creativity. Collaboration improves communication, improves creativity. So competition is not one of the 4 C's. Now, what do we mean by collaboration? Collaboration. Working together. Thank you, Abdul Rahim, Huda, Miriam, yes. Badi'a, okay, Aisha. Yeah, but why working together? Why? Why we should put students in groups? And I put you in groups, and I'm sure you have got some issues. Some they want to start at 7 p.m., others they want in the morning, some they want to dominate the discussion, some they want to impose their ideas, some they are just listening, they have no ideas. So these are some issues when we put learners in groups. And this is the purpose behind putting you in groups, just to see how it's challenging, but it's rewarding at the same time. Great, Miriam, to accept differences. Najee said to try to accept other views. Excellent. Great. So you are going to collaborate, you are going to work together, all of you, for one common goal. There is no competition. You are all winners. Okay. Samira, for cooperative learning, thank you. Yes, so let's see here. Yes, can someone read these explanations? Any volunteer? Can you read these definitions or explanations? Okay. So, let me see the chat box. Okay. Yes, Iman, please use the mic.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
So, critical thinking is finding solutions to problems. Collaboration is working in groups for one goal. Communication is conveying ideas, whereas creativity is thinking outside the box.
Thank you. So we should teach our learners the 4 C's. Okay, because they are going to face problems. So we have to put them into situations. We give them problem-solving situations to find. Collaboration, they should work together. 2 minds are better than 1. European Union, they are great. Why? Because they are working together. Okay, for one goal. Communication, the war takes place because there is no communication. So before okay, we have to communicate, then try to see and to find some or to come up with interesting ideas to solve issues. Okay, now creativity. We want our learners not to be slaves to imitation, to imitate, to copy others, but they have got minds. They have to think outside the box. They have to be creative, innovative. Great. So this is about the 21st century skills. Any comments about it? Any remark, questions so far? Okay, great. So let's move on to the next. So what do you think? Describe. Very interesting picture. We will talk about conflicts. Now, we are narrowing the topic. We start from general about the skills, about the 21st century. Now we are narrowing the topic, more specific, and now we are inside the classroom. So what do you think? Two students fighting during class, Hajar said, يجي conflicts. Two students are fighting in the classroom. Who they fighting? Disruption, Aisha. Okay, black people fight, Zara. Okay. Look, Zara said black people, and then we can talk about gender, race, etc. Interesting. Violence, Samira said. Wonderful. Bashira, taking things personal. Great. Najia, violence. So, Badia, you want to say something? Use the mic if you want to say something. You can. Violence in the classroom, bad behavior. Good. Now, Aisha said shocked students behind. Great. So let's analyze the picture. Look here. Is there a girl there in this picture? Is there a girl? Yes. What do you think about the feeling of the girl? Is she happy, sad? Is she crying, or what do you think? Scared. Abdurrahim said watching. Shara said scared, afraid. Yeah. Aisha, nervous, upset. Huda said. Okay. Miriam, indifferent, maybe. So we have different interpretations. Maybe this for her is something very normal. It happens many times, so she doesn't care. Or maybe she is shocked. Yeah, she's depressed, frustrated, upset. Okay, shocked. Good. Now, look at the boy, that his appearance looks like a Chinese or a Japanese. What is he doing? Describe him. Siham said she might be enjoying the scene. Maybe, okay. So when you do like this, you are surprised, okay, watching. But he is using the headphones. Look here. He is using the headphones where? In class, in the classroom. So there's a problem. So he's listening to music, maybe. Okay. He's listening to Shabi or to pop music and watching the great scene, okay. All right, look at the teacher. The teacher, he is like the dancer. Yeah, he's the referee, okay. It is a big problem. The teacher is in a big, difficult situation. So what do you think? Do the two students, do they care about the teacher's presence? No, they don't care about, they are looking at each other and they don't care about the teacher. Yes, Samira, thank you. There is lack of respect. Number one. The boy is listening maybe to music using the headphones in class. Number two, the two guys fighting and they don't care. And the most important, there is another one, another boy on the right side of your picture. Look, what is he doing? What is the boy doing? Filming. Thank you, Miriam. It's the cinema. It's a very interesting film. Titanic, Gladiator, okay, wonderful film. So he's filming the great scene, okay. Yes. So what do you think? Is this the classroom you are going to teach in? Wow, the ideal classroom, good students, good teacher, good environment. No, because sometimes you may have some challenges. Now, who is to blame? Who is responsible? The student, the teacher, the system. What do you think? Hanan teacher, Muhammad teacher, Samira all. Great. Hadda all. Muhammad Muhadis all. Safa all. Wafa Azwin system. Okay, etc. Okay, great. Now, if we say all of them, the system, the student, the teacher, the same students will finish this class and they will to another class. They are quiet, they are nice, they are well behaved. So who is to blame here in this situation? The teacher. Yeah, if the students are going to go to the next class and they are nice, I want you please to go back when you were high school students. Whoa, these are very difficult, very tough teachers and everyone are quiet. Then you go to another teacher, then there is fun, humor, troubles. Have you experienced this or not? I did. Okay, I did. Teacher Fatima, don't talk to her. She's really tough. She's so hard. Mr. Abdul Mun'im or Abdul Karim, oh, he's like a clown. Okay, we can do anything there. Even we can throw a ball on his back, no problem. Okay. So here, I agree with Muhammad and some of you said the whole, which is the system, the teacher, but I can say that the teacher is also responsible and maybe is the most responsible one in this situation, which means that you have to learn about classroom management. Zara said we had a teacher who used to make fun of us, to make fun of his students. Crazy teacher. Samira said if this happens with the teacher with all classes, then it's the teacher's responsibility. Thank you. Thank you. If it happens with all his classes, great. Zara said always we had fights with him. Yusuf, students may not like to attend certain classes, not interested in the course. Great. Thank you. So if it happens with all classes, making troubles in his class, I mean the teacher's classes, then this teacher has poor classroom management and doesn't know how to deal with troublemakers. All right, thank you. What do you think this class, is it math class? Is it English class, physics? What do you think? What do you think? Physics, English literature, Miriam said. Wow, how did you know English literature, Muhadis and Miriam? Thank you, wow. Muhadis, Miriam, Huda, you are good at observing. Wonderful, okay. So you saw that the cover of the book, Othello. Othello is no, it's not a novel. Othello is not a novel. It is a play written by Shakespeare. Written by Shakespeare. Yes. Othello, we can call it in Arabic Utay. Sometimes we say Utay. Shakespeare, Sheikh Zubair. Okay. Shakespeare, Sheikh Zubair. Okay. as Muammar Gaddafi, the ex-president of Libya, used to name him. Okay. Yeah, Othello is about the African, Muslim, Arab culture. Okay. It's very interesting. You can watch it and you can read it. My piece of advice, I recommend it. Very interesting play. Good. Yeah, the Moor, Miriam said. Okay. Yeah, Zara, it has some of the Moroccan history. Yeah, even the film, some shots of the film was, taken from Al Jadida, Mogador. Mogador, okay, some shots of the film was taken from Mogador in Al Jadida, Moroccan city. Okay, great. Yes, Samira, it deals with fights between good and evil and appearance and reality. Thank you. Okay. So you see, we spend so much time just with the picture. You can develop activities, communicative activities, speaking activities, describing, and then you use the leading questions, eliciting techniques. Great. Now let's move on to the next one. Now, what is the first thing that comes in your mind when you hear the word conflict? Give me just one word. The first time you hear conflict, what comes in your mind? Yeah. Troubles, Samira said. Abdurrahim fight. Abdurrahim fight. Samira troubles. Hajar, Miriam fight. Good. Blood. Hadda, good. Violence, Iman. Abdurrahim problems. Rashid fight. Samira violence. Sumaya argument. Bullying, thank you. Iman bad behavior. Bad atmosphere. Najia disagreement. Hisna misunderstanding. Clashes, Bashira said. Samira bullying, thank you. Huda problems. Hussein who? Huh? Hussein, what do you mean by who? Miriam, chaos. Aisha, okay, great. People fighting, bad words, Safa said. Yes, I agree. Noise, intisar. Good. So when you are coaching your students, you can start with this one. It's kind of what? What is this? It's a kind of, what technique we are using here? It's a kind of brainstorming. Thank you, Miriam. Brainstorming. So you can use with your learners conflict, just write words. Okay, thank you. You know, I'm smiling and laughing at the same time. And I want you to tell me why I'm smiling and why I'm laughing. Can you please ask me why? Okay, Muhammad said why? Najia said proud of us. No, in this situation, I'm not proud of you. All of you, okay, why? I want you to go back to your words you used. The words you used. Are they positive words or negative words? Go back to the words you used. Are they positive or negative? Negative, negative. Okay. Yeah, negative words. Great, thank you. And this is what I want you to do with your learner, to shake their heads, because they believe that conflict is all the time negative. So when you think about conflict, about troublemakers, about troubles, about noise as something negative, the result is negative. Now, the same question, please. I want you now, what is the first thing that comes in your mind when you hear the word conflict, but use positive terms? Yes, again. Use positive terms. Discuss, thank you, Yusuf. Debate, thank you. Tolerance, Aisha, great. Maybe communication, wonderful. Iman, solutions, problem solving. Discuss, critical thinking, Sumaya. Idris, respect, thank you. Najia, discussion. Hadda, different views. Hasna, empathy, wonderful. Muhammad, communication. Maybe understanding. Ashraf, learning is about to take place. Bashira, new ideas. Different ideas, Uda said, okay. Negotiation, wonderful. Difference, victory. Appreciation. Thank you. Open mind people. Clear things. Opportunity. Thank you. Now, Najia, I can say, no, I'm proud of you. Okay. Because here, something very interesting. When there is a problem, most people think. They think about what? They think about the problem and they don't think about the solution. You see what I mean? We have to think about how to solve the problem and not think about talking about the problem. So the majority of people spend so much time blah, 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 talking and talking about problems, but they don't spend so much time resolving issues. You see what I mean? I give you some examples. In my classes, some students come to me, teacher, these students all the time creates problems, he doesn't work hard, he disturbs me, okay. And he say, wait a minute. Okay, and then I invite the chair. I said, now it's the problem. Please, don't talk about the problem. So let's talk about how to solve the problem. And I start to guide, to redirect students' views about talking, accusing, blaming, and switching to resolving and solving the problem. Okay, great. So look here, let's move on. So this is what you said in the very beginning, negative thinking about conflict. And here you have to coach your learners about why in the beginning you talked only about the negative terms. Look at the bottle of water. There is some water here. The half is empty, okay? And remember the half of the glass or the cup? So some they think only, or they talk only about the empty part, while others, they talk about the full part. So we have to think and talk about the positive side. Good, so they may talk about arguments, opposition, dispute, war, struggle, disagreements. Okay, so these are, the majority of these words or these terms are negative. And we want our learners to switch from being negative to being positive. Okay, now, what is conflict? Because no two individuals have exactly the same expectations and desires, conflict is natural. Conflict is part of everyday life. I have conflict, which is to complete the program on time. You have conflicts to complete the assignments on time. You may have a conflict with your husband, with your wife, with your mom, with your children, with your teacher, in the street, with your friends, at the workplace. So conflicts are everywhere. Wherever you go, whenever you are, you will have problems. When you were a baby, you were crying for milk. Okay. And then, so your mom takes you to the bathroom. Okay. Then when you grow up, you go to school and there are problems, getting a good grades, being the first one, getting a good, preparing for exams. These are conflicts. Then you complete your studies. Other conflicts you think about are getting a job. So you are fighting a lot to get a job. Then you get a job. Oh, you get a job. Then you get married. I got married. I'm very happy. Then there are other problems. Electricity, food, other fees. So wherever you go, whenever you are, you will have problems. So you have to look at problems as something very natural. The problem is my best friend. I want to challenge you. Okay, because you are my best friend. Wherever I go, whenever you are, you will find troubles. Okay, any comments so far? I forgot myself and I start talking, coaching a lot about problems and issues. Okay, great. Yes. Okay, that's interesting. Now, this is the positive side of conflict. Conflict is about respect. finding solutions, working together for one common goal, agreeing, accepting differences. And the most important, as I guess Hussein said, it's about understanding each other. Okay. Yeah, no comments so far? If there are no comments, no questions, it's time for the break. Okay, so please, any comments? Yes, please, can you write in the chat box? Yes, Miriam, we can answer these questions after the break. Okay, yeah, just remind me. Thank you, enjoy your break, 15 minutes, and we come back. Thank you. All right, so let's start again. So do you see my screen again? All right, thank you. Yeah, remember here we have conflict is good, all right? And the negative parts, we discuss it. Just 1 second. Yeah, do you see my screen or not, please? Let me see the chat box. Yeah, thank you. Great. So let's move on to the next. Miriam, can you remind me of your question? The question. I can't remember. What's the question? So the question is what to do exactly when two students start fighting in the classroom. Okay, very interesting question. Okay, yeah, we are going to discuss this in the coming slides. Okay, so what to do exactly when two students start fighting. By the way, if they start fighting, it means the problem is already the problem is taking place. Okay, so here the most interesting thing is number one, to calm them down. Okay, how you can separate them, but if they are using physical contact, I guess it's hard for teachers. Okay, so number one, you have to talk to them, to each one of them, and you do your best to calm them first, to calm them, just to stop talking. You don't have to talk at the same time, because if they are talking at the same time, the problem is still increasing. So here your job is how to calm them down. It's number one. Okay, you separate them. Everyone sits in another place. Okay, then you postpone. You postpone solving the problem. Why? Because the blood is hot. Postpone it. Don't deal with it on the spot. So you go there and sit, you go there and sit. You continue working. Okay, you continue working on your lesson. Once they feel calm, they are at ease, they feel comfortable, maybe at the end of the session you can discuss with them the issue. And here I'm going to talk about the techniques you are going to use. Okay, the techniques you are going to use, because some situations are beyond the teacher's will. Sometimes the teacher cannot resolve the problem, and he or she should include the two, should include the administration and the parents. Okay. Yeah, we are going to deal, yes, Aisha, with that. Okay. Good. So let me move to the next one. Now, this is my view. This is my belief in conflict. So here we have CONFLICT. For me, conflict stands for communication. Conflict stands for openness. You have to be open-minded. Communication, you have to communicate first. You have to accept different ideas. You have to start with talking about the issue, listening to your partner, okay? Negotiation, discussions, okay. You negotiate how to resolve it. Flexibility. Don't be rigid. Don't say my ideas are the correct ones. My beliefs are true and your beliefs are wrong. Okay. Learning. You are going to learn about the differences. You are going to learn about other people's point of views. Improvement. So conflict can lead to improvement, can improve the situation. Conflict is about collaboration, working together to solve one issue, working together for one common good. And of course, conflict is about tolerance, tolerating, accepting others. Now, what I do for this task, I tell my learners to start or to give me some words, some positive words starting with C. And I'm going to do with you here. So can you give me any words starting with C, standing for conflict, something good about it? So let me see in the chat box. So cooperating, yeah, great. Calm, Zara said. Collaboration, Muhammad, great. Muhad is cooperating. Courage, Huda, thank you, courage. Great. Creation, Zahra. Imad, coexistence, thank you. Calmness, Mustafa. Coexistence, Shahrazad, great. Now I'm switching the point of views, the attitudes, the way they think. I mean, students thinking from being negative about conflict to being positive. Great. Now, what about the second term? Oh. Any other words about oh? Yes. Oh. Open-minded, good. Optimistic, Muaz, thank you. Open-minded, openness, Imada. Okay. Yes, Imad, you said openness. Good, but give me another term. Open-minded. Yeah, open-minded. I still remember I student said OMG. OMG. What does this mean? OMG. What the, thank you, Ashraf. Opportunities. I student said OMG. So what does, oh my God. Okay. It's very interesting. Oh my God. It can be negative and positive. Okay. Yes. Great. Now, what about N? We have negotiation. Another terms, positive, nice. Thank you, Muhadis. Nice. Squeeze your mind. Nice. Yes, I'm waiting for you. N. Nerves. But nerves, is it a positive? No. Neglect is not positive, Huda. Negotiate, thank you, Najia. Neutral, thank you, Abdurrahim. Normal, thank you, Aisha. Hussein, natural, wonderful. A student said, no winner. Good, no winner. So when there is conflict, there must not be a winner and a loser. We are both winners or we are both, yeah, no winner. Good. Yes. Next, flexibility, F. New friends, thank you, Muhadis, new friends. Noble Muhammad, thank you. Now what about F? F. Neutral, thank you. F, friends. Shahrazad, Yusuf, family, yeah. Intisar, one, freedom, great. Fair, Najia, thank you. Forgiveness, wow, Safa, I like it. Shahrazad, fellowship, thank you. Fulfillment, fantastic. Faithful, Bashira, you are very generous. Aisha, fine. Muhadis, friendship, forget, yes, great. Zara, flow, accepting, thank you. Fabulous, Sumaya. Hanan, friendship, friends, forever, friendly. Forgiveness, Aisha, Hussein, passion. Yeah, fashionable clothes, Hossein. So they are fighting for clothes like sisters and brothers. Okay, fantastic, Yasin. Great. Okay, L, learning. L, learning. What do you think? L, love. Thank you, Mariam. I like it. Love. Bashira, great. Imad, light. Great. Wonderful. Najia, love. Zwin, yes. Safa, love. You love? Uh-huh. Okay. Najia, learn. All right. Like. Samira, thank you. Light. Letting go. Great. Life. Sharazad, thank you. I like it. Liberty, Aida. Okay, thank you. Loyalty, Intisar. Thanks for these words. Okay. Language, Sumaya. Yeah, it's learning. Lovely, Karima said. Okay, learning. Yusuf, great. Iman. Logic. Okay. Thank you. Now, what about I, improvement? I. Likeable, Aisha, loyal. Okay, Rashid, Badia, open. Badia, open perspectives. Yes, but here we start with I. Yeah, I. Ideal, thank you, Bashira. Ideal, Muhadis, ideology. Empower, wonderful, interesting. Ideas, Yasin said. Idrisi, imagination, great. Huda, indifferent. Somehow. Samira, interest, good. Ignoring the difference, Muhadis. Now, what about C, collaboration? Charlotte's influence. Yeah, collaboration. C, clear. Creativity, Huda, wonderful, I like it. Contact, Imad, yes. Calm, Yasin. Cooperation, Rashida. Comprehension, wonderful, Miriam. Cooperation, connect, Samira, good. Sharazad, coexistence, careful, connectivity, Zara. Contact, Yasin. Careness, Iman. Create positive atmosphere, great, Abdurrahim. Caring, Zara. Badia, help, okay, Hanan, Samira. Capable, wonderful. Coordinate, coordination. Thank you, calmness. The last one, T, what do you think? T. Time management, good. Samira, time, but yeah, accepting difference, sharing. Mariam, yeah, I want to start with T, team, teamwork. Abdurrahim, Muhadis, tickling. Samira, challenge, teaching and translation. Sumaya, teaching and translation. Okay, good. Sumaya, you go so far. Translation. Thank you. Yeah. Tactful, Ashraf. Bashira. Okay. Imad. Target language. Imad, you are talking about linguistics. Target language. Samira. Team building. Safa. Talking. Tolerant. Testing. No. Testing. Talking time. Muhadis. Talking time. Thinking. Trust. Thank you, Intisar. Trust, mutual trust, wonderful. Samira, think is a thinking process. Take time, good with that. Great, so did you like this activity about starting with the abbreviation? Thank you, Aisha, take it easy. Yeah, Iman said careness doesn't exist. Yeah, so care, interesting. Okay, thank you. Great, so let's move on to the next one. Now, situations. Conflict situation. I want a volunteer to read number 1 and number 2. Any volunteer, please? Okay, Yassine, please use the mic.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So complex situations. Your colleague always frustrated you so much, and you feel like you want to pull your hair, jump around the room, and just scream out loud. Number 2, your student who stick vehemently to making trouble and refuse to be quiet.
Great. Yes. So, thank you. These are 2 situations. So how would you deal with this? I'm going to give you 4 minutes. Just think about situation number 1 and situation number 2. How would you resolve the problem? Number 1 is the student, and number 2, teacher student. Okay, so 4 minutes. Take your time. Yes, Hussein, you cannot see the situations. Can you please, do you see my screen? Do you see my screen? Okay, yeah, so everyone sees the screen. Okay. Yeah, here we have 2 Iman. I don't know who is the second Iman. Okay. We have Iman bin Khadija, and there is another Iman. Yes, please, can you let me know who is the second? Okay, just one? Okay. And Galaxy Tab A, I guess it's Rashid. So let me try, rename it. Yeah, we have Rashid again. Okay, Rashid. And who is Galaxy Tab A? Can you please remind me? Galaxy Tab A. There is another Rashid. Who is the second Rashid? So we have 2 Imans. We have Iman from Algeria, and the second Iman who? Okay. I have just to make sure about attendees. Yeah, and yeah, there is another Rashida. All right, so it's correct. And let's discuss all together. So any volunteer about number 1? So Yasin said here, the student who is under attack, or she can ask the teacher to stop the other student, or he can ask the teacher to change his or her place. So Muhammad, yes, please use the mic.
Assalamu alaikum. Sir, I would suggest to separate the students, separate them till the session is finished, and then I invite them to my desk and discuss the problem communicatively.
Good. So number 1, you separate, and then you encourage communication. Thank you. Yes. Good. Others, what do you think? Okay. What about situation number 2? Your student. Okay, yes, you want to say something? Yes, use the mic.
Just what I said, can you hear me first?
Yeah.
About the first one, I have a question to ask it, please, sir. If the conflict just with the 2 students, the teacher doesn't know anything about them, doesn't know there is a fight in the classroom between both of them or something like that. If just the 2 students fighting without the teacher knowing anything about that, is and the student and the other student who is under attack can't say to the teacher or can't ask the teacher to stop the other student or something like this. What he or she can do, or what the student need to do, or what the teacher need to do.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Great. Now here, I would like to shed lights on something very important, which is you as a teacher, you should be proactive. Proactive, which means before having these situations, you have to prepare students to avoid conflicts in the classroom. And one of the important things is to do is the code of conduct from the very beginning. The code of conduct from the very beginning. Okay, and here you can also coach them about the importance of resolving problems. So this is what I want to shed lights on. Be proactive, and because something that we as teachers do heavily is that we focus more on teaching speaking, teaching reading, teaching listening, teaching writing. These are skills. What about life skills? Life skills like conflict. Resolving conflict is a skill that we should also teach our learners to avoid issues in our classrooms. So being proactive is the best of the best, which means you are not only supposed to teach the 4 skills, but from time to time you include how to resolve conflicts. You put them into problem-solving situations. Okay. Thank you, Samira. Teaching values. Aisha, classroom ethics. Good. Now, for situation number 2, the teacher, your student who sticks on purpose to making trouble and refuse to be quiet. How would you deal with the situation? Now you have the problem. Number 1, you ignore. Number 2, you ignore. Number 3, then you have to face the problem because it's on purpose. You can talk to him, you go to him directly and talk to him in a low voice so as not everyone can, or you can maintain the eye contact with him, which means that I understand what you are doing and what you are doing is wrong, is not correct. Or you can invite him. You can ask him to go outside the classroom and you talk to him. Because resolving the problem in public is totally different from resolving problems in private. We as human beings, we don't want other people to know about our issues. We feel embarrassed. So you may invite him outside the classroom, in front of the door, and you talk to him. Or at the end of the classroom, then you talk. And here the most important is communication. Communication. Look here, you are my student, I'm your teacher, which means that you are supposed to respect me. And I'm true, I have to respect you. But you look, I respect you, I do my exercises, I teach you, I come on time, etc. But you are not respecting me. I'm like your father, I'm like your sister, I'm like your brother, I'm like your mother. I want something good for you, okay? And I believe in you, you are gonna be great. And I see your potentials, such with something positive. I know you are good. Please share with me if you have some family problems. I'm like your best friend. Just share with me, no problem. And I want something good for you. So please, I have got the power. Okay, I have got the power and I can do a lot of things, but I don't want to harm you because you are my student. You are my friend, okay? So students like these expressions, like this way of solving problems. And when you talk to them in private, they listen to you. When you talk to them in public, they react negatively. They react badly because they are teenagers. They don't like to feel embarrassed every single person. So this is one of the ways, but we are going to tackle these techniques. Okay, good. Now let's move on to the next. The next slide. Here, we talk about basic conflict styles. There are three major styles, three. There are many, but the most important three. Number one, confrontation. You are a teacher, okay. The student created problem. Confrontation. You hit him, you knock him down, okay. This is confrontation. Or you kick him outside the classroom. Basically use the physical efforts. Or there is a problem. There is a problem and the power is not the same. The student is well built and you have a thin body. You are weak. So you try to avoid the situation. Or collaboration, communication. You try to discuss, to negotiate, you accept. So different situations. Now, I want you to solve this situation. You were watching, you were in the festival, or you were in, Mawazin festival, you were standing and watching singers singing. Okay. And there are a lot of people, crowded place. And someone pulled your ear like this. Okay, and you were watching. Now, how would you solve this situation? Would you confront, avoid, or collaborate? It's a very interesting situation. In Mawazin Festival, standing, a lot of people, and you are watching, for example, Haifa Wahbi or Elisa or Shad al-Mujarrad, and you are listening to music. You are enjoying the scene and the song, but someone did like this, pulled your hair. How would you resolve? Would you confront, avoid, or collaborate? Let me see. So Huda, avoid. Shahrazad, confront. Abdurrahim, avoid. Sumaya, avoid as usual. Great. Hanan, avoid. Intisar, avoid. Yasin, confront. Muhammad, Safa, confront. Okay, Bashira, confront. It's direct attack. You are very dangerous, Bashira. Okay. Maybe it depends. Thank you. Mustafa, eye for eye. Good. Now, Bashira, when someone pulled your hair, pulled your ear, and you turned back to see, and then you saw a huge woman or a huge man, would you confront or avoid? What do you think? Oh, Bashir is dangerous, still confronting. I'm very afraid for your students. They're in a very difficult situation. Yassine, running. Okay. For me, I'm gonna get angry. I wanna confront. Then I turn back and I see a huge man. And then I say, hello, how are you? Okay. So it depends. It depends on the situation. Zara Good, she hates violence. Here, the message is not to confront is the best or to avoid, but it depends. It depends on the situation. Okay, it depends on the situation. You see what I mean? I give you an example. Your student, the first time he creates troubles in class, would you confront, avoid, or collaborate? What do you think? The first time. Najia, avoid, thank you. Mariam, avoid, thanks. So it depends on the situation. Great. The same student repeated the question, the same bad behavior twice. Avoid, collaborate, or confront. Thank you, Shahrazad. You collaborate. You explain to him. Collaborate. The same student repeated the same bad behavior more than 4 times. You confront. Here, confrontation doesn't mean confrontation. It means now you are going to take serious measures, serious actions. Okay. Ahmed said to be a teacher, you have to play karate, to do karate. Okay. No, it's not necessary. It's not necessary. I'm going to give you something. I'm going to tell you a good story. The places or the schools where I taught, there were teachers. Some teachers are short, some teachers are thin, some teachers are well built, and some teachers are big, they are huge. When you see them, you may escape. Now what happens? Some teachers are very short, but they have got great classroom management. No bee is gonna sing, no zzz, okay. It's classroom management. It's about the way you act. Some teachers well built and they are big, and there is chaos, disorder in their classes because they have got weak personalities. So it depends on your personality and your classroom management. You see what I mean? Do you agree or not? Now, if the student is going to hit you physically, it means that you did something wrong, that you teased them, that you made fun of them, that your classroom management were not great, were not good. It was a poor classroom management. This was made them to move to actions, to hitting you or something like that. You see what I mean? Classroom management is the best of the best. When students feel that you love them, you like them, you want something good for them, you are not just teaching for the sake of teaching. You are not teaching to get money. You are not teaching and you are looking at your students as dollars. I have 40 students, so I'm going to have $40 or 40 dirhams or 40 dinars, okay? No, we don't look at students like these, okay? We look at students as human beings and we want to help them to change their from negative to positive, from being weakness to being a strong person, etc. So students feel that you want good things for them. They will love you, they will respect you. If you are just teaching for the sake of teaching, they won't care. They don't like that. The humanistic approach is the most important. I all the time share stories with my learners. I all the time raise their self-esteem. I all the time see the positive side of my learners. I all the time teach them about life skills. I all the time talk to them about how to get a job. I all the time talk to them about helping the humanity, helping the poor, respecting your family. They like these things. When I'm teaching speaking, I include the moral values. When I'm teaching reading, I include respecting parents. When I'm teaching grammar, I talk about how to be a good person in the future. So these things will create a good rapport, a good relationship between you and students, and you will never, ever have problems. And you will never, ever, having situations in which students will blame you or say something bad to you. You see what I mean? So teaching is not about teaching the full skills, but teaching is also about changing humanities, creating positive changes, listening to people. I don't say I teach students, I say I teach people, because teaching students is limited to the classroom. No, I'm not teaching only the class in the classroom. Outside the classroom, I want students to learn and to practice these things. Okay, great. So let's move on here to the next. Now, the question is, what is the best style? What do you think? To confront, to avoid, or to collaborate? Bashira said, I remember the student pushed the teacher. Oh my God, yeah, difficult. So Safa said collaborate, Muhaj, it depends, all of them. Collaboration, Yassine, Najia, collaboration, it depends, Miriam, thank you. It depends on the situation. Yeah, because the first time the students create troubles, don't confront, no collaboration, avoid. So it depends. Okay, it depends on the situation. Remember, there is no perfect way. There is no perfect method. There is no perfect husband. There is no perfect wife. There is no perfect dad. There is no perfect mom. There is no perfect teacher. There is no perfect style. Perfectness, only God. Okay. All right. Yeah, thank you, Najee. None is perfect. No one is perfect but God. Now let's move on to the strategies. Very important strategies. Here we have got 3 important strategies to resolve conflicts. And I want you to teach your learners how to resolve problems. And you are going to learn also from these tips. Number 1, I statements. Number 2, active listening. And number 3, problem solving. This is what we have to do with our learners. Okay, so problem solving, I statements, and active listening. Okay, so what do we mean by I statement? Yes, let me explain. I guess you may not have an idea. Okay, let me explain. Experience Ahmed said, change to we statement. Thank you, Miriam. Great. Okay, so let's see here. Look here. We have I and we have finger. You. Blaming you statements versus empowering I statements. Which means when there is a problem, when you start with you were the reason behind this problem. You do this, okay. You acted like this. You wasted my time. You make all these things. You. How do you feel? As if you are being blamed. You are the reason behind the whole problem. You see, now, but conflict happens between two people. When you start with I, now empowering, you reduce conflict. When you start with you, like fire, you put or you pour oil on fire, you increase fire. Yeah, I see your point. I was also responsible for this, but let's agree on something. Okay. Yeah, let me tell you something. I also was nervous. Okay. How would you, do you accept when it starts with I or you? How would you feel? Okay. You feel that you accept the person who is talking. You accept. But here in our everyday life, we all the time accuse people and we neglect or we deny our responsibilities. So we cannot resolve conflicts. Next, look here. Some use statements. Number one, you haven't finished your task, which has put the project so far behind schedule. Number two, the teacher is talking. You keep annoying me all the time. My question, how would you feel when it starts with you? How would you feel? Or how did you feel when it started with you? Accused Aisha, good. Accused Yusuf, good. Angry, Miriam, thank you. Hussein, accused. Azwin, felt bad, good. Wonderful. So you felt that there is something wrong. Now, did you, starting with you, is going to solve the problem or to make it worse? Is going to increase the conflict or decrease? So what do you think? Increase? Yeah, increase. Sharat, increase. Increase. Thank you. Now, you and your learners, you should start with the I and not the you. In my class, the students comes to me, teacher, my friend, yes, Karim, you did this, you did it. I said, wait a minute. Muhammad, come here. Karim, come, please. Don't start with you. No, I'm gonna listen to you, but you start with I. Teacher with I? Yes, start with I. Let's say, now they feel calm down. Yes, teacher, yes, I feel, yeah, I see that I'm also responsible. Yeah, I'm also hit him in the very beginning, okay. So then you decrease conflict and you teach your learners to practice the I and the you statement. Great, next. So look here, I feel frustrated that this project is so far behind schedule. I get easily annoyed by a lot of distractions. It's compared with you. You haven't finished your task, which has put the project so far behind schedule. You keep annoying me. Then we have here, I get easily annoyed by a lot of distractions. I didn't say your instructions, but by a lot of distractions. So here, we are decreasing conflict. You have to do it with your students and you have to coach your students to do it with themselves and to do it in their everyday life outside the classroom. Is this clear about statement number one? Strategy number one, I and you statements. Yes, please. Thank you. Good. Now, the comparison. I want someone, a volunteer, to read the comparison between the two. Any volunteer? Okay. Yes, Hasna, use the mic. Use the mic again, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so the we have less threatening, self-awareness, personal responsibility, decrease conflict. And we have the you statements, which more threatening, blaming, increase anger, escalate conflict.
Thank you. Thanks.
Much appreciated.
Okay, great. So let's see here the keywords. So this is less, but this is more threatening. Okay. This one is self-awareness. You see yourself as you are also part of the problem. You are not denying being responsible. And this one, blaming. When you start with you, from the very beginning, you are increasing conflicts, you are blaming. And something very interesting about the I, you admit that you are part of the problem. And you admit that you are also responsible, so personal responsibility. And here you deny responsibility and you increase anger. This one, decrease, and this one, escalate conflict. So it's very interesting. It's really very interesting how the pronoun, you see the pronoun I can change conflict or can resolve conflict. The pronoun I and you are very important. They may resolve or they may decrease or increase the situation, the conflict situation. Is it clear so far? Yes, please. Any comments? Yes, a very large difference, as Aisha said. Okay. So let's move on to the next one. Second one. Look here. Now practice. I would like to give you 4 minutes. Reframing, switching from you to I. Look here, blaming. You broke the computer. You broke the computer. Reframing, using the I. The computer is broken and I'm scared. We won't meet our deadline. So look here. I am scared. And then we have we. We won't meet our, there is an absence of you. Now your job is to reframe. You make me angry. You start with the I statement. You use the I statement. Number 2, you are incapable of understanding me. Or you are incapable of understanding. The teacher may say it to the student, or the student may say it to his classmate or her classmate. 4 minutes, take notes. Start with the I assessment, okay? All right, so time is over. Any volunteer? Any volunteer? For number one, you make me angry. All right, Yassine, thank you. Use the mic.
So you make me angry. For me, I write, I know we were supposed to work on group, and I'm so sorry to be late and to make all of you become angry.
Can you repeat again? Can you repeat again, please?
Okay. I know we were supposed to work on group, and I'm so sorry to be late and make all the group or all of you angry.
Okay, that's interesting. Thank you. It sounds it's nice. Yeah, good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Other volunteers? So we have Hussein. Please use the mic. Use the mic, Hussein.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. For the second one, you make me angry. So I could say I sometimes get angry when it is noisy. For example, someone make noise, so I don't point at him. You make me angry. So I say I sometimes get angry when it is noisy.
Great. Yeah, sometimes I get angry when it is noisy. Wonderful. Thank you. Sharazad.
I would say the fault is mine. I can't control of my anger.
The fault is mine. I can't control my anger.
Yes.
But here you are accusing yourself. You can show that he in a indirect way. You can show that he or she is also responsible. You see my point?
Okay.
Great. Yes. Miriam, use the mic.
Yes, I may simply say that I get angry when such things happen.
All right, that's interesting. Thank you. Muhammad.
I would say that I'm afraid that I don't like the way I'm treated.
Interesting. Good. Yeah, you can start with I, okay. I get angry when there are a lot of noise or when there are troubles. Okay, thank you. Very interesting I statement. Now, blame, you are incapable of understanding me. You are incapable of understanding me. Other volunteers, what can you say? Ashraf said for the first one, I get angry when someone provokes me. Okay, Muhammad, I'm afraid that I don't like the way I'm treated. Good. So let's see here. Other volunteers, yeah? Okay, let's go. Mustafa, yes, please.
Okay, concerning the second one, you are incapable of understanding. It could be better if we say, for example, I'm so sorry for confusing you. I will look for another way to explain or to make things clear.
Interesting. Thank you. Huda, use the mic.
Please don't get me wrong, but I didn't understand what you are trying to say.
Perfect. So please don't get me wrong, but
I don't understand what you are saying.
Okay, that's interesting. Thank you. Yusuf.
I would say that sorry, I didn't clarify more. I didn't I didn't clarify the instructions, so I will do my better to make you understand more.
Great. Yeah, it sounds very interesting and it decreases conflict. Miriam.
Okay, I would say I'm afraid I couldn't explain the idea clearly.
All right, good. Another Miriam, Hershey, yes, please. Okay, yes, use the mic, Miriam.
Yes, I would another try to understand.
Repeat again, please.
Give it another try to understand.
Give it another try to understand. All right. Yes, thank you. Ashraf, the last one.
I think I'm going to say, well, it seems the idea isn't understood. So let's put it differently, and I'm going to explain. Thank you.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's great. So here the importance is to decrease conflict. So using the I statement is one of the best. Great. Next. Yes, active listening. The second strategy is active listening. And here we want to teach our learners how to listen, not just listening, but listening actively. Okay, because when there is conflict, students or parents or people in general talk at the same time and they are not listening. And all the time, if you will look at our body, it's very interesting the way it is created. We have got 2 ears and 1 mouth, which means that the importance is given to listening more than speaking. We have 2 and we have 1. But the problem is we blah, 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 blah. We talk more than we listen. We like to talk and people listen to us. But once people are talking, we don't listen to them. Even in our classes, when the students gives a presentation, he's talking and he or she wants everyone to listen. Once he goes back to his seat, he doesn't listen to other presentations. And here we have to teach them active listening. So here, the tips. Activity, students play roles. You put students in situations and they should play roles. Okay. They play roles. Number 1, you tell them to listen politely. Listen politely. Number 2, ask questions for clarifications. When the situation is not clear, you can ask questions. Number 3, once your friend finishes his speech about that problem, you repeat what was said in your own words. Number 4, you summarize what he or she said. And number 5, you acknowledge the speaker's point of view or feelings. Was he angry when talking? Was he at ease when talking? Was he stressed, etc.? Now, you put students in situations and they have to talk about a problem. For example, you give your friend the copybook, but he did not bring it on time, but he returned it in a bad quality. Now, this is the problem. You invite them to the board to talk. One is going to talk about the problem, about the conflict. The second partner should listen actively. How? You listen politely. Don't do like this. No, you listen politely. Number 2, if he said something not clear, you ask him, please, I want to clarify, or I want you to clarify this. What do you mean by I didn't give it to you in a good quality? Because I keep it as it is, okay? So clarifications. Once the person finishes, you repeat. The teacher is gonna ask the students, can you tell me what he said? And then you summarize what he said. And then you tell me about the tone of his voice, the attitude, etc. Is it clear so far? This is how we teach our learners to listen actively. Yes, please. Great. Now, I'm going to put you in pairs. I'm going to choose two volunteers. Student A talks about the problem, and students B listens actively. So who plays the role of talking about the problem and who plays the role of listening actively? Two volunteers. So we have Zahra, number 1, and Muhammad, number 2. Great. So Zahra, by the way, I want you to use the camera. Zahra and Muhammad. Okay. Is this clear? So Muhammad, okay. Use the mic, Muhammad. Great. So Muhammad, yes, please. Muhammad will talk about the problem. And Zara will listen actively. So when you listen politely. You ask questions for clarification. You repeat what he said. You summarize, and you acknowledge the feelings. Okay. So let's get started. Yes.
So what was the name of the student for the training?
Yes, you are student A. You talk about the problem, any problem.
Okay. Mr. I am afraid that I have to complain that that the book I wrote to you, that I wrote you, is in a bad quality.
Okay. Okay. What shall I say?
Yes, Muhammad, can you repeat again? Can you repeat the problem, but give
Yes.
some details?
A book in bad quality, okay.
Miss Zara, I am afraid I have to complain that the book I lent you yesterday is now in a bad quality. You return it in a bad quality, not as I lent it to you.
Oh, I think I'm sorry, but it was already in bad shape.
Great.
And I didn't do nothing to the book. It was already in bad shape. And all I did is I opened the book and it started to tear up by itself.
Good. So this is number 1. Number 1 is listening politely. Number 2, did you ask questions? Now, can you repeat what he said? Can you repeat what he said?
He said that I brought him a book that he borrowed me, and I turned it in a bad shape. So I said that the book that he gave me already was in bad shape, and all I did is I opened it up and it started to tear by itself.
Great. Now, a summary.
A summary is that he was angry and he started to ask it politely. I denied my responsibility.
Great. Now, can you acknowledge? Yeah, can you his feeling? Was he angry? His attitude?
He gave like a very public.
We can't hear you. The voice is low.
Yeah. Able?
Yes, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. He said
he said he was very straightforward about his feeling and everything, and
Great.
he didn't in impolite way.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, this is the way you teach, learners how to listen actively, because from the very beginning, you tell them you have to ask questions, you listen politely, you repeat. When you tell students you are going to repeat what your partner is going to say, they get focused. And then they should acknowledge the attitude and the feelings of the speaker. This is how to teach active listening. Great. I need two volunteers. Two other volunteers, please. Two other volunteers. So we have Yassine and Yassine. Another volunteer, yes, please. And Ashraf, great. Yassine and Ashraf. So Yassine, you talk about the problem. And Ashraf, you listen actively. So use the mic.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about the problem. This problem was happened when I was a student, when I was in the college. So this is the last time that you're going to talk. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
So this is the last time you're going to talk to that girl. It's my own girl. You don't gonna talk to her again. If I see you talking to her again, I'm gonna kill you. Okay? Are we deal?
Great.
Okay,
So,
Mr.
yeah, this is the issue, the problem.
Okay, okay.
Now your job, Ashraf, is to listen politely, to ask questions, to repeat, to summarize, and to acknowledge the attitude or feeling. Yes.
Okay. Sorry, Mr. Yassine, I didn't know that she was your girl. I thought it was. Okay, just forgive me. I'm not going to talk to her anymore. Okay. Are you satisfied now?
Okay.
Oh, good.
Great, thank you. Now, Ashraf, you should repeat what he said.
Okay, so he said that that I abused or I talked to his girl I asked her for a date or something. I asked her to get into a relationship with his girl, and that was inappropriate for him. So he was angry and was like, "What the heck are you doing, man?"
All right, good. Now give a summary.
Okay, so I tried to tell him that that I didn't know that she was his girl. So I apologized and I tried to soften the mood.
All right, good. Now can you acknowledge the attitude and feelings of your partner?
Yeah, I can do that. But actually, I would avoid getting into troubles.
I mean, when he was talking, how did you feel? Was he angry? Was he?
Yeah. He was very angry, and and especially with it is like his wife. Like to talk to his wife about inappropriate topics.
Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot. Yeah, this is an example of a conflict that may happen in your class. But it's difficult for a student to tell his teacher, this is my girl, and then there are problems in the classroom. Okay. Yes, I guess you were crazy when you were a student.
Yeah. Not that much.
Yeah. Did you say that to your teacher? Did you say that to your teacher?
Actually, no.
Okay. All right.
Between
Great.
me and
yeah, this is a good example of conflict. Yeah.
I'm gonna interrupt you, but the situation gets inside the classroom. We start outside the classroom, and the problem gets big and big inside the classroom. That's why the teacher is involved with us.
All right.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. Thank you. It's a very interesting conversation about conflicts. Thanks. Great. So let's go back to the next one. Let me share again. Great. So this is how we teach our learners to listen actively. We teach them to listen politely, ask questions, repeat, summarize, acknowledge. Then they start to implement these things when they are listening, because the problem is that they talk at the same time and they cannot decrease conflict. We want them one talks, one listens. Now, the last one is problem solving. How to resolve the problem is another technique or another strategy. Number one, choose an appropriate time and place. Very important, the time. Sometimes you are angry. Don't resolve the problem at that time. Let him or let her calm down. And the place, private places, public places, okay. Very important. Number two, identify what's the problem exactly about. Because sometimes you are talking about the problem and you don't know what are the reasons behind this problem. So identify the problem. Number three, brainstorm. What are the solutions? Suggest ideas. Very important, agree on a solution. No win, loser situation. Win-win situation, both are winners. Avoid compromise, like I'm the winner, you are the loser. You are the loser, I'm the winner, no way. And always try for win-win situations. I tolerate, you tolerate. I accept, you accept. Okay, I forgive, you forgive. And the most important is to respect the rights and values of others. When you are talking of problems, don't mention cultures or values or rights. Okay, I have the right, I'm a girl, you have to respect me. And you are just a boy. No. We all have the same rights. We all have the same values, etc. So this is about problem solving. Now, this is a situation I use with my learners. It's very interesting. Then we can finish, I guess. So what's this? It's a difficult situation, yes or no? What do you think? Is it a difficult situation or not? Is it conflict or not? Is it conflict or not? It's conflict. Okay, this is what we call difficult situations. Now let's imagine that your friend, your classmate has got a bad smell and you sit next to him, or next to her, because all the time say him, okay. Hussein, Muhammad, Karim, and Ashraf, they may kill me. I'm all the time using him or her. She has a bad smell, or he has a bad smell. Now, this is a difficult situation. What we do as human beings, we tend to avoid talking about that bad smell. And then here we don't have win-win situation. We have win-loser situation. The loser is you, and the winner is the person who has that bad smell, because you did not tell him or her about it. Yeah, Bashir said stinking, good. Ahmed said open windows. Now, even though you open the windows, the same bad smell. It's beyond your will, beyond the window's will. Okay, good. Bashir said it's better to talk about this in code of conduct. Now, the purpose of using this picture is to deal with the embarrassing, difficult situations. Okay, spray. Mustafa said, okay, she said, leave the classroom. Then they are gonna fight, okay. Okay, good. Now, we as a human being, you agree with me or not, we tend to avoid tackling or dealing with embarrassing situations. Do you agree or not? Yes. We tend to avoid, yes, we don't want to say you have a bad smell or you smells bad or your mouth is smells bad, etc. Here, if you avoid, it means you are the loser and that person is the winner with the bad smell. Okay, everyone can smell and it's okay for them. No, you have to deal with the situation. Now, how? So this is a difficult situation. Can someone read A, B, and C? Any volunteer to read A, B, and C? Okay. Yes, Hanan, use the mic.
Difficult situation. A, anything we don't want to talk about. B, we usually worry what will happen if we do talk about it. C, if we do talk about it, we usually think and feel a lot more than what we actually say.
Good. Very interesting. Thank you. So here, number one, embarrassing situation, we avoid talking about them. The best example, the bad smell. Number two, we start thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking before we deal with the situation. So we spend much time worrying about what we will say or what will happen, and then we don't talk about it. C, if we do talk about it, we usually think and feel a lot more than we actually say. We feel a lot more than what we say. Great. Now, how can we deal with this situation? What do you think? Now, your friend has a very disgusting smell, bad smell. I want 2 volunteers, 2 students. Student A, bad smell. Student B should know how to deal with the student A. Any volunteers? A volunteer with a bad smell. I want bad. Okay. Yes, any volunteer? Again, we have Zara and Yasin. Yes, what about others? I don't want the same faces. So in your classes, don't focus only on the same faces. So here I'm going to choose. Okay. So let me choose, okay. Bashira. Yes, Bashira. Okay, use the mic. Bashira, do you hear me?
Yeah,
Good.
yeah. I can hear you.
Good. I'm going to choose another one. All right. So another one is Huda Al-Khayyat. Yes, please. Do you hear me? Use the mic, Huda.
Yes.
Good. So here we have 2 volunteers, Huda and Bashira. So let's start with Bashira. Bashira has a problem. Bashira, don't take it personally.
No, it's okay. Just okay. No problem.
Thanks. All right. So Bashira has got a bad smell. Huda, you are her best friend. Whenever you go with her, you sit next to her, you smell that bad smell. So what would you say? What would you do in this situation? Please talk.
Yes, don't get me wrong, please, but I think you should take a shower.
Sorry, what do you mean by taking shower? I take shower every day.
But your smell is not good.
Nobody told me this so far. This is the first time I hear this comment.
Maybe you should...
I think if you have a problem, it's better to talk to the teacher.
No, I have no problem with you. Just I want to advise you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Huda. And so it sounds that Bashira does not accept Huda's talks or speech. And Huda sounds like she did not use some nice terms, maybe. Okay, great. Okay, so how did you feel, Bashira, when Huda was talking?
It was embarrassing, and it was not nice at all to hear such words. It's like
okay.
Nobody accepts.
So she is no more your best friend.
Yes, true. No more my best friend in the classroom.
Okay.
The role play.
Good. Yeah, Huda, do you want to add something?
No, I have nothing to say.
Okay, thank you. Great. So this is an example of two situations. Let's go back to the slides. Now let's see. Let's see what was wrong about Huda and Bashira's situation. Great. So here, handling difficult situation. Number one, which is very important, in private. And I still remember a student said, hi, my friend, how are you? Let's go to hammam. Okay. Or, yeah, it's good. It's a good idea. What about tomorrow, the coming days? Or, I give you a present, the perfume. Okay. Maybe these are not convenient tips to help your friend. Okay. Now, you can talk to him in private. So don't avoid. Don't think that it's very embarrassing. In private, you and him, you and her. Okay. Number two, be direct. So something was positive about Huda's speech. She was direct. Because Bashira said it's the first time to hear this, and Huda directly said, no, you smell bad from time to time, all the time. Okay. Be direct. Talk about the problem. Address the problem. But how? How can you be direct? Using empathy. Empathy is when you put yourself in the shoes of the other. If I use this word to another person, I'm gonna use it to myself. Am I going to accept it if someone tell me the same? Is it going to hurt the feeling? If it's okay, then I'm going to use it. If it may hurt me or may hurt my feeling, I'm not gonna use it. So using very interesting terms, using empathy is a skill that we have to work. In private, be direct, talk about the problem. And how? Tactfully, using empathy. Okay, any comments so far? All right, now, summary. All together, what do you think? This is a summary of today's session. Can you complete? I'll think about that tomorrow. Is an expression that is said to the conflict. We have 5 letters. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. What's the term here? Can you write in the chat box? What's the answer for number 1? To solve the conflict. Resolve, Ashraf said. Solve, resolve. Avoid the conflict. Thank you, Mustafa. Avoid. Avoid, I guess. Avoid. All right. Number 2, it's not enough that I win. You must lose. Is an expression used to the conflict. Used to how many letters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I guess, yeah. No, 8 letters. Increase conflict. Confront conflict. Okay. Yeah, confront. 8 letters. Thank you. Number 3. This expression tend to escalate conflict by triggering ours, shame, or sorry, our shame and offensive reactions. So what's this? How many letters? We have two expressions. Compromise, increase. Muhammad said, Aisha, compromise, overreaction. You have two words. You have two words. The first word, 4 letters. The second word is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I guess 10. Okay. Use statement. But you have 4 letters in the beginning. Direct accusation. Yeah, use only the words that we talked about. Anyway, let's skip it. Number 4 means dedicating your full attention to the speaker and giving a thoughtful response to what they said afterwards to resolve conflicts. You have 2 words. The first word, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, sir. Active listening. Thank you. Active listening. Miriam, Muhadis, Aisha. Okay, great. So let's see the correction. Number 1, avoid. Number 2, confront. Number 3, use statement. Thank you. Number 4, active listening. Okay. Thank you. Any questions so far? Yes, please. Questions, comments? Hanan, yes, please. Use the mic. Yes, use the mic, Hanan. Yes, activate your mic.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, please.
How to deal with students who refuse to sit next to each other? I mean, boy and girls. They refuse to sit next to each other.
Very interesting. Yeah, good. Very interesting question. Yeah, what do you think for others before I give the answer? What do you think of students who refuses sitting next to a girl or a girl sitting next to a boy? Ah, yes, Muhammad, you are also involved. Sorry. Yeah, we have 2 volunteers, Muhammad and Hussein. Great, for the seminar. So Miriam said, don't force it. Zara. Don't force it. Respect their preferences. Hajar said. Sumaya, we respect their opinions. Good. Had explained the point. Bashira, involve them in game groups to get along. Great, Bashira. Thank you. Yes, remember, these are the unexpected problems that you may face. Be proactive. In the beginning of the year, the code of conduct, you the teacher, from time to time, I'm going to put you in groups, in pairs. I'm going to choose. So please don't tell me I don't want to sit to this one. It's my rule. You have to respect it. Okay, so you teach them the code of conduct from the very beginning to accept your instructions. This is number 1. Number 2, as Bashira said, you put them into groups to accept each other, okay? To sit with the girl or the boy, no problem, because here we are not taking it personal or personally. We are here trying to learn English. It's a situation, okay? Now, here, you can, from the very beginning, to give them situations about believing in differences. And in these situations, you put a girl and a boy and a girl and a boy, to let them be familiar with sitting next to each other, with accepting each other, etc. Now, in the middle of the year, if a student said, no, teacher, I don't want to sit next to her, then you can remind him or her about or of the code of conduct. It's okay, no problem, but sit next to her, because here you are going just to communicate. You are not dealing with, the whole body of the person, but you are going to deal with the way she talks, with the conversation, with the situation, etc. My piece of advice, you teach these things in the beginning of the year to avoid these problems. If the students insisted on not sitting, it's okay. Calm down. Delay. When the students calms down, okay, at the end of the session, you can talk to him, you can involve his parents, you can involve the administration. This is the best of the best. Yeah, Bashir, you can change seats, yeah, when you are dealing with activities, with group work, pair work, etc. Great. So no more questions? Good. So in the evening, another session from 5 p.m. to 6:30. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, from 5 to 6 about professional development, global job market, etc. Yasin, you have a question? Yes, please. What's the question? Hajar said, what about feeling uncomfortable sitting next to some, even though she or he knows him? I don't get your point, Hajar. Can you clarify more? Yasin, what's the question? Use the mic, Yasin.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. About the bad smell, sir. When the student plays false and they have another session, and when they come to the classroom with the bad smell, how can we deal with this problem?
Good. Yes, thank you. This happens many times in my classes. For example, sometimes I teach from 11 to 12, then the coming class just had a physical education class from 10 to 11. Then they came to me from 11 to 12. Number one, I just opened everything, all the windows, the door, okay. And especially if the weather is hot, then I teach them something very important, is to try to clean themselves, to have a shower, or at least their shoes, their socks must be, clean, okay. Don't use the same socks that you had when you were playing soccer. Don't use the same shoes that you had when you had, the physical education class. So when you come to me, you can change everything, then you come back, okay. This may help. However, sometimes it's beyond your well, and you try to open the windows and the door, and you try to cope with it, or you can use the perfume, etc. You see my point? All right, thank you. Thanks a lot. See you in the evening. Have a nice day. Goodbye. So the time is 5 p.m. from 5 to 6:30 p.m. 5 p.m. Okay, goodbye.